So in today's video, I just wanted to make a quick sort of a rant video about MTG and specifically Universes Beyond. In my opinion, MTG has been a great card game for a long time, right? It's one, if not the oldest TCGs out there, right? It's been around for over 30 years. Think about that. Um, and I love the commander format. I'm not a standard guy. I'm not a big fan of having to buy new cards, every year, because I believe standard rotations like 3 or 4 sets. I'm not completely sure on that because I haven't played standard at any rate since Dominaria United released. Um, when Mono Black, Sheoldred, and Invoke Despair was meta in Standard. So I haven't seriously played MTG Standard in a long time, but I can speak to Commander because I play a lot of it. I have played a lot of it, and I played a lot of it for a long time. Um, and I want to dive into Universes Beyond here, because I don't like what's going on with MTG right now, right? We're only going to get 6 sets this year, which, if you didn't know, uh, MTG releases around 6 sets every year. And I have no problem with the amount of sets they're releasing. What I do have a problem with, however, is the sets that they are releasing, right? The Universes Beyond sets. Because while I'm not completely opposed to the idea of having Universes Beyond sets released, or Secret Lair for that matter, because it's kind of an extension of this and was kind of the pre. I feel like Secret Lair's been around a lot longer than Universe Beyond sets, but I could be wrong on that. I don't know, but that's what I feel like, right? But it feels like half the sets they're releasing now are Universes Beyond sets, right? And in my opinion, some of these Universes Beyond sets, in my opinion, don't fit the scene of MTG that well, right? So if you look at a glance at the sets they're releasing in 2025, right? They're releasing Aether Drift, right? Tarkir, and again, forgive my pronunciations. Final Fantasy, Edge of Eternity's Spider-Man, the Multiverses set, I believe, and a Universes Beyond to be decided set at the very end of the year. Now, what's my problem with this? Well, it's simple. Half the sets they're releasing this year are not even MTG sets, right? And what does this mean for pricing, right? Well, Commander pricing is going to go up because booster box prices in Universe Beyond sets are way higher than in regular MTG sets, right? So, for example, I believe a Final Fantasy booster box is going for around 150. You should never pay these prices. And by the way, you get 6 packs less for 150, right? And that has an effect on single pricing as well, because obviously, if you open more packs, there are more singles on the market. There's more quantity in the market. Just basics of capitalism, right? There's more quantity because the demand may not be able to keep up with that quantity. But for the longest time, right, you sit down with some friends, a draft booster box hovers around $90 to $100, right? You can sit down with some guys, you can buy a $90 booster box, draft booster box. You can have fun for a night. You're going to keep your cards. You can split the price amongst each other, amongst like 8 dudes, 6 guys, whatever. Have a rotation, right, of games. Maybe award some prize packs among each other. And you can have a really cool night for like 10, 15 bucks, right? When you have that many people splitting the price between. But not only am I not happy about the price, right? Because it has an effect on people who don't even want to play with Universes Beyond. But in my opinion, it has an effect on the setting. And I don't disagree with all the Universes Beyond being in MTG. For example, for the longest time, D&D's been in MTG, but I feel like those have been integrated for the longest time. It's hard to think of an MTG setting or Magic the Gathering setting without a Dungeons and Dragons setting as well. It's hard for me to differentiate between those two, and they're both owned by the same parent company, if y'all didn't know, that being Wizards of the Coast. I just don't understand where, for example, SpongeBob is tying into MTG at all. I don't understand how Spider-Man's tying into it at all, right? I don't really understand how Final Fantasy, I don't know that much about Final Fantasy, but I don't understand how Final Fantasy is tying into this. And when the prices increase this much, right? I feel like it's going to allow them, if they have demand at this price level, right? They're going to start charging more for their other sets, right? For their base sets, right? And that's just how capitalism works, right? So I'm making this video not necessarily as like I hate MTG, even though I'm not really the biggest fan right now. I'm making it more as like a cautionary, hey, I don't really like what's going on, and I do like MTG. I like playing Magic the Gathering. I have had a lot of fun. I've been playing for relatively a long time in my life. And I wanted to do, well. But do I think they're going down the wrong path? Yeah. And, when half your sets are Universes Beyond sets, we're going to have a problem here. Whereas if you look at 2021, just a couple years ago from now, you look at Kaldheim, Time Spiral, Strixhaven, Modern Horizons 2, Dungeons and Dragons Forgotten Realms, and I'm gonna reiterate this: Dungeons and Dragons for me isn't really a Universes Beyond, and they weren't charging separate prices, and they weren't reducing packs for the booster boxes, right? And Innistrad came out that year, both Midnight Hunt and Crimson Vow, and for me, those sets, like you look at that year and those sets, and every set I just said in that year of 2021 was a complete and utter banger to play, banger to draft. But that being said, all the sets were great to draft, great to play with, and they were cheap, right? You could have fun for cheap. And I want to reiterate this: MTG isn't. You shouldn't feel locked out of playing MTG, right? And you shouldn't have to buy. In my opinion, your full experience of MTG shouldn't just you having to buy singles. Like if you want to buy singles, go ahead, and that's great, and you save a lot of money doing that. But buy a draft booster box sometime. You know what I mean? And I think that adds a lot of fun. Or going to a sealed event. But when you increase prices this much, I can't suggest that anymore. And MTG quickly, turning into a hobby that's not buy singles, it's proxy everything. And that's just, in my opinion, as a card collecting TCG, that's just not fun. Anyway, as always, junk it out and have a great day.